evening from Wales, wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are watching Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, your one-stop shop for professional wrestling, insight news, and reviews on a daily basis. Now, today, it's a huge day because it is officially the Raw on Netflix premiere. Tonight is going to be potentially, in fact, in all likelihoods, likely the best Raw in the history of the episodic TV show. It is going to be absolutely nuts. I cannot remember in my entire lifetime a time where I have been this excited for an episode of Raw. Legitimately today, all day I've just been getting goosebumps. I've been that excited for it, and it's a rarity nowadays that I get this excited about it, but I am so pumped up. It is going to be a banger. We have Numero 1 Superfly in the comments saying, happy Netflix Monday Night Raw premiere, Wrestling Republic. Happy Netflix Monday Night Raw premiere to you as well, Numero 1 Superfly. We got DCX Warlord in the comments as well. It is going to be a great day. We've got It's Kevin over on Instagram saying WrestleMania has come early, and Isaac Pugh is asking whether or not Penta, well, he's saying he's buzzing for Penta and he wonders if AEW have his name trademarked or not. We're going to have to wait and see what goes down later tonight. But what we do know is that we've got a great show for you here today. And you know what I say, for a great show, we need a great panel. And boy, oh boy, do we have one. Let's kick things off with some breaking news, in fact, because we do have some breaking news right now that the Royal Rumble 2026 will be heading to Saudi Arabia. How are you today, Clark? And what is your immediate reaction to the fact that we are getting the first ever Royal Rumble outside of North America?
I'm kind of blown away. Are they going to call it the greatest Royal Rumble?
It's just the
they
standard
did that
one.
Once. I think it's just going to be the regular one. You know, it is what it is. They're going to go to Saudi Arabia multiple times a year. Obviously it's going to be harder to attend as a U.S. citizen when it comes to that one. So I'm a little disappointed in that, but the Royal Rumble is probably my favorite of the big four anyway. So it'll be fine. It'll be fun. And I just hope it doesn't become like an every year thing, which I don't think it will.
Yeah, no, I doubt it will, but you are right. You know, it's super interesting that it is, of course, going international. I think we will see this a bit more, but like you said, hopefully every year they do change the location, and I am sure that they will. But we've also got some more breaking news. We got news breaking left, right, and center today, but it is official. Raw on Netflix, if you are watching on Netflix, will not have adverts if you're outside of the United States. Instead, you'll get like random interview segments which sound really, really filler, to be honest with you. But for whatever reason, Netflix in the United States, they're getting adverts. I don't exactly know this, but this has just been confirmed by WWE. Also joining us today, we got Josh Markowitz. Josh, how are you, and what's your immediate reaction to that news?
What's up, Ben? I'm in the United States, so obviously I'm not too fired up about that. I'd rather be seeing interviews than commercials. But yeah, honestly, it is filler. I think at some point, probably they're going to be wanting to be watching commercials instead of just, watching filler interviews. But yeah, usually it's Happy Mania Day. Today, it really feels like Happy Raw is Netflix Day. Like there's a certain feel in the air when you wake up for WrestleMania. You wake up for a Royal Rumble, and it's a little bit different, obviously, but there is that feel in the air, just like you said. I've got goosebumps as well all day. I'm just so fired up to start 8 p.m. Eastern here just to watch Raw. I'm so fired up, and looking at the topics list over there, I mean, we got banger after banger after banger. I'm excited to get into it.
Absolutely. We're 4 minutes into the show. We've had 2 bits of breaking news. It is a crazy start. But like you said, Josh, it feels like a WrestleMania day. There's that much hype around it. Bobby Batista was saying that he hopes we are having a great Monday. We hope you're having a great Monday as well, Bobby. Thank you very, very much. Shots Below the Belts asking you, how about the women for the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia? Hopefully they get just as much time as usual. I mean, that's undoubtedly got to be an expectation, if not, demand there for absolutely sure. But I'd like to think, at least in this day and age, WWE would only be doing the event if, they knew they could still do the Women's Royal Rumble and there wouldn't be any issues with that. Numero 1 Superfly says that he predicts Roman Reigns will win Tribal Combat, and then Solo reveals all along he's done it for The Rock, and then Rock comes out and declares that he enters the Royal Rumble at number 30. Now, that's a great segue into our opening topic today. Tribal Combat tonight. Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa. The winner not only gets the Ula Fala, the seat at the head of the table, but also will get the services of Paul Heyman. And that's a big factor in this one. In fact, that is the factor why I personally do predict Roman Reigns is going to win. I can't see Paul Heyman leaving Roman Reigns yet. But, of course, yesterday it was announced, it was made official, as Adam Pearce says, The Rock is officially going to be on Monday Night Raw tonight. But what is he going to do? Is he going to interfere in Tribal Combat? Is he just going to be there to do a random speech? Is he going to call out Cody? There's a lot of possibilities. And Clark, I want to get your thoughts on it out the gates.
I see, when it comes to The Rock, involvement in Tribal Combat, but I don't know if it's actually during the match. I see this being a post-match angle. No matter which direction it goes, really, my prediction, if I'm making one, is that Roman Reigns picks up the victory, The Rock comes out and maybe disputes it in some way. I'm not totally sure. Or maybe we even see a Heyman flip when it comes to The Rock. I think that would be interesting when maybe, we saw at War Games, Roman had a very different interaction with Paul Heyman than CM Punk did. Punk hugged him. Roman was like, Roman looked like Kobe after winning Game 6. Job not done. Right? Nothing to celebrate right now. I think maybe Roman goes for the embrace on Heyman, and Heyman really is that double agent, but it's not for who you think it is. It's not Solo Sikoa. It is The Rock the whole time. And that is the surprise that I could see happening tonight. No guarantees there, but if they're going to pull one over on us, I think that makes a lot of sense. Either way, I'm excited about it, and I do think The Rock he'll have his fingerprints around this match, maybe not necessarily on the result of it.
Yeah, I could easily see that being the case, Clark. I mean, obviously it's his family at the end of the day as well. And we talk about, his father, who was one of the people who, really linked up the two sides of the family as well, which now Solo Sikoa has incorporated a lot more too. So it is very interesting indeed. And undoubtedly, you have to think. In fact, I thought Rock was going to be involved in this storyline a lot more than he actually has been. And I agree with Bobby. I am interested to see if The Rock does a match in 2025. That's going to be interesting. What are your thoughts, Josh, on all of this? Do you think The Rock could show up in Tribal Combat?
Yeah, I think actually there would have been a better chance of him showing up if he wasn't announced for the show. Now that he is announced for the show and all that type of stuff, I can see him just kind of coming out, cutting a promo, maybe not even on anything, just kind of just being there for the show, for the draw. So I don't know, but I mean, I think, you got Tribal Combat, you're starting out the show. I think there's no way he doesn't do sort of something there. But I mean, predictions are going to be weird for this show because it's the first Netflix show. Netflix is likely, they're going to want the biggest people to win, the biggest draws, the most popular wrestlers to win, but that also puts storylines in a weird spot. So for this match, I mean, what a way if this kicks off Raw like it's supposed to, like they're saying, it's going to be a great way to start off Raw on Netflix. And I'm actually expecting more shenanigans in this match than like actual wrestling, but I think that's what's going to make it fun on a kind of like a lower scale of Mania 40, Cody versus Roman. But I think this is going to be a weirdish prediction, but I'm going to go with it. I think we're going to see Fatu. We're going to see Tonga. We're going to see the Usos. I think they're all going to come out. It's Tribal Combat. They got to. There's going to be a bunch of interferences, stuff like that, all that fun stuff. But I think where it gets interesting is The Rock is going to take out Roman. Now, giving Solo the win, but I think then The Rock is going to take the Olafala for himself, kind of leaving Solo with no chance but to acknowledge The Rock as his tribal chief. And then, of course, leaving Roman with nothing besides that pointless win because he didn't get the Olafala back. So I think this would be a really cool way to, create that super interesting storyline between The Rock, Solo, and Roman, and leading up to Roman versus The Rock down the road. Now, of course, realistically, you're right. I don't know if The Rock's going to have a match in 2025. I've been a little surprised with his little involvement in this storyline. So I'm not quite sure how possible that is, but I would love to see that. And I really do think it's a possibility tonight.
Yeah, I completely do agree with you there, Josh. I do think that would make a lot of sense. In fact, I think it makes a lot more sense than what I'm about to predict right now. But you know what? I'm going to predict it anyway. I reckon Roman Reigns is going to win. I think that's going to be the end of that one. But I think as Roman's there in the ring, that's when The Rock comes out. I think The Rock is then in the ring with Roman. Maybe he doesn't even say a word before another person's music hits. Somebody who was advertised, then wasn't advertised, but is still advertising himself. And that is Cody Rhodes. I think that is when Cody Rhodes comes out. That's the next surprise. He's in the ring. You've got the three of them in the ring together, staring off, foreshadowing the WrestleMania main event, because I do still think that is going to be the match they do at WrestleMania. And then probably Kevin Owens attacks Cody and ruins it all or something like that. But that is my prediction, my early prediction for the match. I mean, Clark, do you think there's a possibility that could happen?
Gosh, I hope not, but I do think it's possible. No doubt about it.
Why not?
I don't care about Cody being involved in this. Like, give me Rock Roman at this point. I understand Rock Cody down the road. I think that's a SummerSlam match. If it's me, I don't need him inserted in muddying the waters in the Rock Roman storyline. I wish they could keep those two separate. And I understand. Anytime I say this, it goes back to like but The Rock told Cody he was gonna come back for him. That's fine. He can still do that. But I don't need him to do it at the same time as paying off the Roman Reigns tribal chief, high chief bloodline storyline. They don't need to stay connected. What we saw at WrestleMania 40 was enough for me on that part of it. Rock is connected to Cody because of the call out, but it doesn't have to happen at the same time. And so I would prefer not, but do I see it as a possibility, Ben, which was your original question? Took me a long way to get there. Yeah, I do think it's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, you did reference it. It's just the fact that The Rock said to Cody, when I'm coming back for you. You're next, whether you have that title or you don't have that title. And the fact that he said that, if he just goes to Roman, I think this is it won't be as bad, obviously, but it's an Adam Cole MJF level loophole in a storyline. It is like, it's just a little bit silly. So I actually do agree with you, and I said it last year too. I would rather both the feuds happen separately. I completely agree with that. But because of that Raw after WrestleMania promo, and Josh, I know you were in attendance for that, I think it has to be Cody next. I mean, what do you think, Josh?
Yeah, it's got to be. That was the first segment of the Raw after the biggest WrestleMania ever. I don't think WWE is just going about this like, hey, like that never happened. Like, let's not remember that. Like, that was a really, really big moment. Everybody remembers when The Rock came back with his People's Championship and he asked Cody to hold his belt and they exchanged belts. It was a super weird and awkward segment. The crowd was chanting, "This is awkward." It was a memorable segment on Raw. So I would be very surprised if they just went along like that didn't happen. The Rock said, "When I come back, I'm coming for you." So yeah, you should go after Cody. I'm wondering now if WWE kind of regrets doing that segment, because maybe they're kind of thinking like we're thinking like, hey, let's not go that direction, but they kind of have no choice now unless they want to just ignore what they did on the Raw after Mania. But I don't think it would make any sense. I think he's got to go after Cody. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, the only way where maybe it could make a little tiny bit of sense is if, like I said, like perhaps The Rock, comes out to confront Roman, and then Cody comes out immediately afterwards saying, "Hey, we're not doing this again. You're not overlooking me for a second year in a row. You said this. You said you're coming for me. Come for me." Like that. It's as simple as that. We've got quite a few comments. Bobby's wondering what Logan Paul could be doing. That's an interesting one. Maybe we will touch upon it later on in this show. Shots below the belt says Solo has to win, right? WWE would make him look weak. That's why I don't actually quite agree on that, because he's gotten, several major victories lately, including pinning Roman Reigns. Yeah. I think if one of WWE's biggest stars wins, I don't have an issue with that personally.
Especially if it's a good match. Exactly. I have no problem with that. I think Solo can take a loss to Roman Reigns, just like Roman took one to Solo.
Absolutely. And also, I don't want Paul Heyman joining Solo. Like, that just doesn't work for me.
And that's one of those that, like, okay, what is that, like a 2-week Band-Aid so that Paul Heyman can be afraid of Solo and not be effective, and then he actually, because he's the snake oil salesman, pulls something over? And then doesn't that make Solo not look as heelish as he should because he can't even trust his own wise man? Like, I mean, that's how that story ends up playing out.
And it would just, if Paul Heyman went back to Solo, it would just be a repeat of what they already did. Just like you said, he would be scared of him. Paul Heyman would be scared. Then he would, pull up the phone, call Roman. Like, it would just be a repeat of what already happened with Solo and Heyman. And I don't know, it wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, I 100% do agree with both of you there. To play devil's advocate, I guess, since Heyman's returned, he has had Solo's, pocket handkerchief in his suit. But I think that might just be Heyman teasing everybody, to be honest, more so than actually meaning anything, because I agree. I don't think it would work long term. Richard Matema over on Facebook is saying, when will the match start? Raw tonight starts at 1 p.m. Sorry, 1 a.m. in the United Kingdom, 8 p.m. EST over in America, and 5 p.m. Pacific if you're on the West Coast. We got there eventually. Too many time zones, as I always
2 p.m. Hawaii.
Soul saying, I think it's just nice to have WWE on a video player that works for once. Praise be to Netflix. I mean,
I'm not gonna lie, man. When they first announced it, I was a little concerned. I went out and bought a bunch of stamps because I figured they'd be shipping me DVDs of Raw every week, like when the company first started. And I don't know what to do with the stamps now. I didn't realize that it was such a huge streaming service.
Oh my gosh. Right, let's move on, shall we? Let's move on to talk about Rhea Ripley, because she is once again challenging tonight for the World Women's Championship. The championship which she actually never lost. She will be taking on Liv Morgan for it. My question for you, Clark, out of the gate, do you think we are going to see a new World Women's Champion tonight?
Well, there's almost nobody stronger than Rhea Ripley in the WWE Women's Division. There's almost nobody more over right this second. And despite some pitfalls along the way, like you mentioned, she never lost the title. Logically, it's the first Raw on Netflix in Los Angeles. I mean, Rhea Ripley is not going to win back the WWE World Women's title, or the World Women's title tonight. No, not so fast, my friends. Liv Morgan gets a clean victory and puts the stamp on this rivalry. The run continues. It's not over yet. It's not over till it's over, and it's not over tonight. Liv Morgan gets the win, and she does it cleanly this time for the first time yet. For the first time, she does it cleanly.
Sasa7974 over on Instagram is agreeing with you, and it's Kevin says that actually makes sense. A lot of people are agreeing with you on this one, Clark, but I am not going to agree with you. I think we are going to see Rhea Ripley win the World Heavyweight Championship, but not only that, because I think we're going to have something very interesting post-match. I think Rhea Ripley is going to win the title, hold it up, and then we get the Becky Lynch return. But here's the thing. Becky Lynch has been featured on Netflix's, promotional material for Monday Night Raw, as well as at press events and all of that. So everybody is kind of expecting Becky at this event. So I don't actually think that is going to be the big shocking moment here. I think when Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch are staring off, Charlotte Flair is also going to return. And we think for a second we got the WrestleMania match. No. Charlotte walks in too. She wants Rhea Ripley as well. Suddenly, it's very interesting. And we've got two major players back in this women's division. I can see you don't like it, Clark.
I don't like the idea of, if Rhea wins the title back, just to completely overshadow it with two returns. Because of how long
the storyline's been with Liv. It's the Raw on Netflix.
I know it is, so you do go all out, and I understand that. I would rather have one of the two, if anything, in that situation. I like the idea of the moment being great, but it overshadows Ripley overcoming Liv and this entire storyline that's been, a year long. Like, now it's all of a sudden about Becky and Charlotte again. It's like, unless we're putting them on the cover of the video game and announcing that, it just bothers me in that way.
Well, I think you do have to, start making, ideas for WrestleMania and start teasing that. The fact is, the fans, you are right, Clark. This is a huge storyline, and I've been a fan of it. But the fact is, fans have lost interest. So I do think this is kind of a thing now where they just want it over and done with. And after that, just to move on instantly and to suddenly, you know, make this women's world title feel wanted again, when, let's be real, for a few months it's kind of been a bit stale. I think it will do the division the world of good to have these two back-to-back returns. And when you have your first surprise, you don't expect the second surprise. And the first surprise of Becky Lynch, I don't think is enough of a surprise because they've just teased it too much.
The other thing, though, is how many triple threat matches are we going to book for Mania in the title picture?
Well, it doesn't have to be a triple threat match. Who said it has to be a triple threat match at Mania?
That's true. We don't have to, but the 3-person stare down right now on Raw at Netflix, like, come on, what are we doing here? Like that's what they're saying. If that's what it ends up being, that's what they're saying. You know, at least that's what I think.
We've got a second. When will the match start? Comment. The match is gonna. The show is gonna start 8 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. But
1 a.m. in the UK and 2 in Hawaii.
Shots Below the Belt is saying, so everybody's coming back. No. But like I said, I usually don't like back-to-back returns, but just because they've made this Becky one so obvious, that's the reason why, you know, I think it makes enough sense to do that. Bobby Petito is saying Rhea Ripley will win tonight, and then Io Sky will win at the women's Royal Rumble match, and we'll have Rhea versus Io at Mania. I would be on board for that because I've never ever got an issue with Io Sky competing. Shots Below the Belt says he still can't believe Dom left Rhea for Liv Morgan and chicken nuggets. Oh. But now let's move on. In fact, before we move on, I want to talk to you guys about something real quick. I want to talk to you guys about Demand Progress Plus, because in case you guys don't know about this, it is a brilliant streaming service for a lot of British wrestling promotions, and it's available worldwide. It's Demand Progress Plus. It's the home of Progress Wrestling, Defy Wrestling, TNT Extreme Wrestling, and a lot more. Honestly, it is my favorite wrestling streaming service. And now the WWE Network has shut down. You might have a few more dollars, a few more pounds or whatever in your pocket a month.
Shingles.
So, hey, this is a great option, no doubt about it. But it truly is, right? And if you guys use code WatchProgress1, you will get 50% off your first month on Demand Progress Plus. You can see matches from the likes of Walter, Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, Will Ospreay. They're all on there. It's an absolutely exceptional streaming service. And you guys know me, I'm a big fan of independent wrestling, and Progress Wrestling, well, it is the best of it. No doubt about that. And Bobby Petito says Progress Wrestling is great. Absolutely, it is. There's no doubt about that one, Bobby. But now let's move on to talk about something else which is great, and that is Penta L0, or Pentagon Jr., or whatever you want to call him, right? He'll probably get a name change tonight. We don't know. But what we do know is, the last few weeks on Raw, they've been teasing somebody, and last week, it all made sense. They showed the flames, and it was his mask. So we do know it's him now, unless somebody's just stolen the mask. So presumably... Pardon?
Could have been Kane. I'm kidding.
No, it was his shape. It was his logo,
it was so
and everything.
Obviously his mask.
It was him. But the question is, how should he debut tonight? There's a lot of different theories going around, but Josh, I want to get yours.
Yeah, I'm one of the biggest Penta fans in the world. I think I love Pentagon. He got me back into wrestling in 2019 during that weird WWE period when AEW was back. When AEW started, he was really one that got me back, and then I really started to dive into his discography: Lucha Underground, Impact Wrestling, AAA, Ring of Honor. If you haven't seen his work there before he got to AEW in 2019, do yourself a favor, go watch it. It's all on YouTube, and it's all incredible. But look, there's one thing that's certain about Pentagon Jr., Penta Zero Miedo, whatever you want to call him, Penta Oscuro. He's always entertaining, and he's always over. And I cannot fathom my excitement for him to come to Raw tonight. The only thing that I worry with Pentagon coming to WWE is that he is not the best English speaker, and that tends to create issues sometimes, especially when you're trying to create a single star who has the skills to be a WWE championship, but maybe can't do enough on the mic. So will he get a manager? We'll see. I don't know how that's going to work out yet, but how should he debut? There's many ways for him to do this. I would love to see him just go right after Gunther, but that's That's too rushing it. I think in order to win over this crowd, it's a WWE crowd, so it's a little bit different. Not everybody knows him. A lot of people are kids. They don't know all the independent wrestling in AEW. I think he needs a really good singles program. I think he needs, a few weeks to build it up, maybe a good match on PLE. My pick with that is, I don't know what he's going to do tonight. I don't think he'll come out during John Cena. I don't think he'll come out during Logan Paul. I honestly have no idea what he's going to do tonight, but I will predict what he's going to do for the future, because my pick is, I think he's going to go after Carmelo Hayes or Damian Priest, one of them. I'll go for Carmelo Hayes first. I can perfectly visualize like an egotistical Carmelo Hayes saying to Pentagon Jr., like, you got to work your way up, buddy. You don't just get to come here and wrestle for the best and wrestle for the belt. Like, man, this would be a beautiful, beautiful bout. Carmelo Hayes, Pentagon Jr., they've never wrestled before. Two styles that, by the way, would mesh so perfectly. They're both high flyers, but they're also both kind of hard hitters. Pentagon Jr., man, that guy hits hard. And when Pentagon faces Gunther, it's going to be incredible. But I think for right now, Pentagon versus Carmelo Hayes is the perfect first feud for him. I don't think he can attack the championship yet, because I don't think he can afford a loss, because I don't think they'll put the belt on him immediately, because I still think he needs to get over with the WWE crowd. However, I think that's going to be easy for him, and I think a win against a top-profile superstar would be massive for him, maybe against Carmelo Hayes and then a championship, or maybe Carmelo Hayes and then Damian Priest and then a championship, but maybe, let Pentagon beat Hayes, and then maybe, who knows, Shinsuke Nakamura, United States Championship match. I'm in. Count me in for that.
That would be fantastic. I do have a theory. In fact, I do think I know how he's going to debut tonight. Now, I want to make something clear out of the gates. I don't think this should happen. I don't think this is how you should debut him, but I think it's how they're going to do it. I think he's going to be Rey Mysterio's mystery tag partner to take on the New Day. I think that's how they're going to do it. And I don't want to see it, because I agree with shots below the belt. I don't want to see, just another, a masked competitor join the LWO. It is becoming a thing now with Triple H's booking, where you just put in, all the luchadors together.
Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, just quickly about the LWO thing. The real reason why I don't want to see that at all is he's a face. Everybody loves him, but he still has that scary look to him, and he can be a great heel, and that doesn't work with LWO at all, especially with the face paint, the look, the style of wrestling. It does not reside at all with LWO. I really do not want to see that. I agree.
I will say, though, one caveat, though. I think he can still team with Rey and then maybe not join the LWO, sort of be like the vigilante guy. Like, I'm your friend, but it doesn't mean I'm in your group. And then you can maybe run some sort of tension there, too, coming out, right? So you get the big pop for the debut, but then you get the best of both worlds, to your point. He can go a little darker and be like, no, I'm not like that. I don't just, right? Like, I did a favor because I respect you, but I'm not in the group. Right. Like, I think that's something that's definitely possible. But another thing that I do find interesting, and I know we're supposed to move on, but I did want to mention this really quickly about the subject. And I apologize to Mr. Phil Brooks. I'm going to use it anyway. But moveset wise, that's been in the news of late. Sling Blade. A lot of guys in the WWE using the Sling Blade. The Destroyer. A lot of guys in the WWE using the Destroyer. Package Power Driver right now is a big old Kevin Owens thing. A lot of his signature stuff is littered throughout the roster. I'm very interested to see if that affects stylistically his in-ring debut, how he executes and adjusts on that, if he's just going to go with what brought him to the dance, which is what I'm hoping for. I want to make that clear too, right?
Yamba, his famous armbar.
Yeah,
I think
his famous armbar.
What's he going to do? But I mean, the thing is as well, it is true. They could just have him debut a Rey, and then, Rey says, it's an old friend, whatever. And I think that could work. But I don't want to see him like saying to Rey, it's a one-time thing. Because I'm going to be honest, Josh, you touched upon it. I don't actually want to see him talk. I don't want him to have a manager either. I want him to just go proper, Penta Oscura, whatever it is, right? And for him to just be his dark side until Phoenix comes in. I want to see that dark character, because WWE don't have enough of those characters. So what I would do, if you are going to do this, is just then in the transfer window announce, either Rey's going to SmackDown or Penta's going to SmackDown next week, and they're on different brands or whatever. So I don't actually think you need a proper explanation as to why.
I think you can almost do it this way too. You have him say like one simple phrase in Spanish to Rey, and then you have Rey tell the story.
Right? I don't even
Rey be the one. Rey be the one that's
voice.
That's true. I like the idea of the silence. Yeah, no.
Killer.
That's fair.
And it's the presence and the aura that he brings.
Yeah.
It's just that look he's got. He doesn't even need to talk. He just comes in there and has it on fire.
That's fair.
Devils fan 43 is saying that perhaps he attacks Ray before the match because the New Day can't afford a loss. That's actually a good point. The fact the New Day can't afford a loss too. But I don't want him to attack Ray. I don't know. At least that would be something interesting for Ray, I guess. But I'm not the biggest fan of him coming in as a heel. I think bring him in as, an anti-hero, like Shots Below the Belt saying. But I mean, again, I wouldn't debut him in this fashion. But hey, regardless, it doesn't matter what they do with him unless they squash him in 30 seconds. It's going to be good because you're debuting on what's likely going to be the most watched Raw like in years and years and years. It's going to be amazing for him. Regardless, it is such a great place to debut. I don't want to hear him say anything at all. I don't. I want him to be the silent killer.
Tell him to shut up.
Tell him to shut up and just look.
Shut him up.
Yeah, his aura, it's so good. His lock, it's fantastic. But now let's talk about something which I do want to see. And I don't want to hear either of these two talk as well for once, because I want to see them wrestle tonight. Seth Rollins, CM Punk. I am absolutely hyped up for this one. There is no other way to say it. I am so pumped up. But my biggest concern, and I've said it for weeks and weeks and weeks now, is I do not want this to be the end of the feud. I really want this to be like the first 3 matches. I want this to go all the way to WrestleMania. Other people are suggesting maybe that won't be the case. Other people have another theory, which if neither of you touch upon, I will get onto. But Josh, I want to hear your theory for this first. What do you think is going to go down in Seth Rollins versus CM Punk tonight in the main event?
First of all, Hunter, Triple H, thank you for making this the main event because it deserves it. This is a match 12 years in the making. They teamed up together in NXT in 2012, and Rollins was just a young little trainee. But since then, there have been no nice things said about one another. I mean, Punk called Rollins a fool, like on WWE Backstage in 2019 on that little Fox show they had going on. Rollins called Punk a cancer to any locker room just years after that. Now you fast forward, they're both in WWE. Seemingly, maybe I buried the hatchet in real life, but honestly, the way in which they talk on the microphone, they still got real beef going on. And this was supposed to be a WrestleMania 40 match until Punk got injured. That's just a testament to how big of a match this is and how big of an event this is tonight. So here's the thing. Millions are going to be watching this, the biggest Raw ever. I think, hopefully thousands of people who haven't even seen WWE before are going to be watching this. That's the goal. So if CM Punk is in the cards for a championship, if he's in the cards for a WrestleMania main event, he needs the victory here. But then again, the last match that Seth Rollins won that sort of meant something was against Braun Breaker in a singles match at Crown Jewel. And I wouldn't even say that really meant much. He's been sort of on a losing streak since being involved with Bloodline and Punk, and nothing bad has really happened to him, but he just hasn't won a lot of actual matches. Great promo segments, but he hasn't really done much in ring yet that has really boosted him up. So I don't know how this is going to go, but you look at Raw main event, you look at the biggest draw, it's CM Punk. I could see CM Punk being victorious as the closing shot until Seth Rollins attacks him. Like you said, Ben, I don't want this feud to end right here. It shouldn't end right here. It's too big of a story to just close the book on right here. I think there's more chapters to go. I think Seth Rollins is going to attack Punk. Rollins is going to be the ultimate heel. Punk's going to be the big baby face, and they're going to keep going.
Do you know what, right? I somewhat do agree with you there. I think a very similar thing could happen, but then to the point Isaac Pugh is making over on Instagram, I agree with you because then again, I've actually contradicted myself here, but I'm going to do it anyway. I predicted she's going to return twice. I'm going to say it again. I predict that Becky Lynch is then going to return after this match.
She works twice.
No, you know what? I take it back. Charlotte's the one. It's just going to be Charlotte earlier on in the show. But this time,
more doubles and in and out on this one.
It's going to be another double though, because this time Becky's going to return, and that's why this is the main event. Becky returns and helps Rollins perhaps turn on CM Punk or whatever, something happens. Maybe you can still keep them as tweeners a little bit, whatever, right? And at that moment, we get the return we have been waiting for so long. AJ Lee. Royal Rumble mixed tag team match. Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, AJ Lee, CM Punk, and that is how we stretch this feud out to WrestleMania. We're at WrestleMania. We have the blow-off match. Seth Rollins, CM Punk. Clark, what do you think is going to happen?
I think both are possibilities. I like the idea of the Becky stuff. I don't think that all goes down tonight. We've packed a lot into these predictions here, and I do not think they deliver upon all of this. It's not possible. I do not want to set the bar too high for this because we'll be let down if we do. In my mind, we are going to get shenanigans tonight no matter what, and the match ends in essentially a no contest, a DQ, whatever you'd like to call it, double count out, whatever. Something happens and nobody wins. I don't think tonight. I don't think you start with somebody's up 1-0. But what I would like to see happen, this would be awesome. We've talked a lot about them both being baby faces, but they're kind of tweeners too because they, it's Seth, it's Punk, all of this. I want Punk to do something where Seth truly snaps because Seth has been upset since minute 1, since this storyline started. And I want to see Seth snap and that be the reason the match ends. I want to see Seth lay in 50 chair shots, stomp him on the steps, stomp him on a chair, whatever it may be, Falcon Arrow through the announce table to end the show. Something absolutely absurd, like really just snap, lose your mind. And I want to see Seth on his side of this storyline be not even delusional, but just he hates this man so much. He can't handle it. He has to get his hands on him over and over and over again and hurt him for all of the things that he said about him that he's bothered by, that have frustrated him since Punk returned, since Punk was gone for 7 years. During the time that Punk was gone, hearing Punk's name all that time, tell that story and just but Seth needs to get really serious. That's what I want to see. And that's how I would book it if it's my choice.
Yeah. No, to be honest, I love that as well. And I'm going to be honest, a lot of things I've predicted today, even though they're out there a bit, I do think a lot of these big surprises are going to happen. In fact, I think more surprises are going to happen than we've even talked about today. But the one which I'm not sure about, I think probably isn't going to happen, but I'm still going to have predicted it, is AJ Lee. That is the one, Clark, where I agree with you. I think that one might just be a little bit too much.
I do think there's going to be quite a bit. I think we're going to be
surprised
a lot.
Yeah, we're going to, it's going to be interesting for sure.
See, that's kind of my point here, by the way, really quickly. I'm sorry, Ben, not to interrupt, but Seth must stop being a clown. That's kind of what I'm saying.
I agree. I fully agree.
Just get really, really serious. Maybe he starts wearing t-shirts and jeans again or something after this.
Oh, right. Okay.
Just to make it right after whatever happens tonight that just leads to him snapping, then all of a sudden you have him more like he's so focused on getting CM Punk, just getting him, that he's not even going to do the fashion stuff anymore. He's just wearing his regular, he doesn't even.
Just a black suit, black tie.
I wouldn't even say a suit. No. Like just dress like he's going
to
dress like he's going to do like a bar fight all the time.
Oh, don't make me do another rant on wrestlers wearing jeans again.
Well, it doesn't have to be jeans, but like he doesn't need to wear a suit.
I agree with you. He needs to lose, that side. He absolutely does. Melissa's saying, I don't like Liv Morgan, but I just found out she has a farm. Indeed, she's just done a farm tour actually on YouTube today. But also, we have a comment here which made me laugh. Shots below the belt. Then Larry helps AJ and Punk. And then Seth Rollins' talk comes out to even the odds. Perfect. Absolutely. That's what's going to happen.
Then they bring a pack of snow dogs in to break it up. The dog security. We dress them up like Airbud.
Bunch of canines come in there. Yeah.
Yeah, they all run in, break up the dog part of the fight. The actual human security breaks up the human fight. And then they flash the watermark and we all go home.
We haven't even spoken about John Cena. That's how stacked this show is. We haven't even been able to talk about that.
Oh, yeah, he's going to say hi.
Yeah, he is, and that's official too. Bobby's saying, do you think there's a possibility we see any NXT wrestlers in the crowd, very possible, actually debut tonight? I don't think so, just because I think they're going to be up against the clock. I think they'll be in the Rumble. We are going to see a few call-ups just because, of course, for the next couple of months, SmackDown's going to be 3 hours, so they probably will need a few more wrestlers.
The Intuit Dome, Ben, it's going to be star-studded, though. It's going to be like Hollywood. like a lot of celebrities in this crowd. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and the look of it, it's a new look, it's a new presentation. It really is. There's no stage. They have revealed they did a tour. I think they basically just did a tour to show there's not going to be a stage. Don't get your hopes up. It's just one of those little like entrance ways. But what was cool is the seats all had lights on. So I think we are going to see some really cool stuff.
It's one of the most unique arenas in the world, not just the United States. Like, it's specifically built for fan enjoyment. I mean, Steve Ballmer put his heart and soul into this. This was his baby as much as the LA Clippers are. And like the amenities are off the charts. There's so many bathrooms. There is not a line for the bathrooms, no matter how sold out it is. It's like one of the most insane things I've ever heard in an arena. Like, it's impossible to have to wait to go to the bathroom at the Intuit Dome. And then not only that,
is crazy.
All of like the food, you walk in through this little gate and it scans your credit card that's in your pocket and you select which one on your phone.
Yeah.
And then you just pick up your food and it knows what you got and you just walk out and it charges you.
Wild stuff.
It's more and more
like
stores
30
doing
seconds
that now.
to get
crazy.
2 hot dogs.
It is.
A couple of
I actually did it right before All In this year. I was with Chaos and Soul, and I did that, and I actually checked with the person who was like standing on security. Hey, I didn't steal anything, did I? I've done this right. I had. It was all fine. But that's how it's just technology.
It even blew my. It was like, what? The first time, like, you're like, this doesn't make sense. How do they know?
Exactly. It's absolutely wild, but. Guys, we are only 4 hours away now. I am pumped up. I'm going to try and take a nap for a bit, actually, to try and get some sleep before Raw, because it's going to be a long night. But I'm so excited for it. It is going to be a banger, no doubt about it. Thank you to Clark. Thank you to Josh for joining me here today. Make sure to check us out here, same time, same place tomorrow, when Shard, Jordy, and Chaos are going to be reviewing the show. And of course, Allison Analysis on the YouTube channel tomorrow morning as well. It is going to be a fun one. Thank you to everybody throughout the comments on all the platforms as well. Isaac Pugh saying, remember Travis Scott? We know Triple H went to his concert a little while ago. He's not been mentioned since, but let's hope so. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.